The Woman in the Yard is a complete flop and ultimately a disappointment. So, as the trailer says, today's the day. Today's the day you avoid going and seeing this film. The acting, which was done very well, could not save a storyline that was predictable and a movie that provided very, very little suspense. As you sit back and watch this, you are thinking that you are going to see this psychological horror film. You're going to be on the edge of your seat, and ultimately, it flops. From the very beginning, within the first 7 to 10 minutes, you already know exactly what is going to take place. All of the signs are there. A young wife or a wife is grief-stricken because of the loss of her husband. She has to support her kids, but ultimately this woman randomly appears. And where this movie ultimately gives it away is within that first 7 to 10 minutes, you see the woman appear in almost like a dream or a thought. And so you already can see where they are going with this movie. As I said, the acting in it is done well. I thought the acting allowed the story to at least be presentable, but ultimately it really is not that good. In many ways, as you watch it and as I watched it, I thought it was like Never Let Go. You have a same type of situation, a house in the middle of nowhere. You're kind of fighting for survival or wondering what's going to happen next. And so that is where this movie kind of relates to. But I think the one disappointment that really stands out is the lack of suspense and horror. Ultimately, you see what happens at the end, but you start picking up how the ending is going to take place just based off the actions and almost these sort of flashback type of scenes that it is providing. And so when you are sitting there, you are trying to figure out what is going to happen next. But as you think about what's going to happen next, you do not receive what you think. And so, as I said, the predictability of this movie, especially billed as a horror film, is not living up to that hype or what they portray it to be. And so, as I said, when I first started making reviews, I learned very early on that when it's a PG-13 rated horror movie, they typically flop. They're not very good. It's just a billing where a person that likes the suspense in a way gets the chance to see it without it being as graphic or as gory. But The Woman in the Yard, as I said, the predictability just ruins this film. The good acting that was done could not overcome a poorly written storyline. As far as a rating, it's a 1 out of 5. I will never give zeros because there's effort made. The acting, in my opinion, is a 4 out of 5. I thought it was done well. But the overall presence of the movie and the storyline is a 1 out of 5. The trailers looked intriguing. The storyline seemed intriguing. But more or less, you're not getting a psychological horror film. You're getting a psychological movie where you see her mindset, Ramona, you see her mindset about tragic events and how they are starting to play out and affect her life. And so as an audience member, it's not really putting you in a psychological mindset. You're just seeing her in the grief and ultimately why the woman in a yard appears. And so you see, and even 20 minutes in, you see who the woman in the yard is. And if you watch it, you see where it goes. But it is out now. For me, it's a 1 out of 5. It's not worth the watch. It's not worth the hour and a half to go see it. The acting is done well. And I hate that the poor storyline and storytelling is going to overshadow the acting that was done. But it is out now. The Woman in the Yard, 1 out of 5. Make sure to go check out the other reviews I have posted. Make sure to go follow me on all the social media and hit that subscribe button as we approach 500. And I will talk to you all later.